blah 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 blah. Look at my fucking schnoz. Okay, hopefully this one will be good. It's fucking tiring. Okay, now that I finally got my fucking audio figured out, I guess I can just get into this. I don't really know how to start, though. I have like a whole script here, and I still don't know how to start. It's not really a topic that I can talk about too easily. I guess I also have to say this in a way that like YouTube won't take down my video. Uh I'll say this will be the last time that most people will hear or see from me. See me or hear from me. Fuck, man. Going well so far. Yeah. I suppose that statement doesn't really need any explanation. I know a lot of people see me as like this happy-go-lucky guy, you know, with like no problems and whatnot. Far from the reality, though. This is gonna be like a fucking long video, so I'll try to... Come on, bitch. Okay. I'll try to segment this into parts. Yeah. Part 1, health problems. That's really fucking bad. I can't do that. Hold on. I have a few medical concerns. It's like weakness. Like, I'm really fucking weak. Pain, tension throughout my whole body, and the pain is like, it's several types. I had shingles when I was like 16, and the result of that was nerve pains in my left armpit, I guess, which it's like a stabbing pain, and also in result of that was nerve pain in like right where my heart feels, you know. It just feels like someone's stabbing me right in the chest. But aside from that, I get sharp nerve pains pretty much just randomly all throughout my torso. That's fun. In addition to that, it's like tension pains all throughout my body, everything, mainly in my back and calves for whatever reason. My body is hypersensitive to the point where I can't sleep in a bed with someone else because just their presence in alone is just their presence alone is enough to keep me awake and keep me stimulated. Like I just can't relax. But like poking someone, or goddamn dude, getting poked by someone is like jarring, you know. Whatever. Going on, I can't control my muscles well. Even just swallowing has become discomforting sometimes, and I'm slurring my speech more, as you can probably tell. Like, I can't... Too much fucking saliva in my mouth. It's just constant, which is something that my mom was complaining about as she got sick. I'm nearly blind in one eye. My vision is just getting worse in both of my eyes. I recently developed astigmatism, so that's cool. I constantly get skull fucking headaches, like just to the point where it's like debilitating. Fatigue mixed with insomnia, uh, and I only seem to be getting like weaker, not just in terms of my muscle strength, but also in terms of like my bone density. It seems like when I was 16, I got hit by a car, fractured my pelvis in 3 places. My bones were strong back then. That car was supposedly going like around 40 miles per hour or something. People heard the smack from their apartments. Uh, Only 3 fractures, and I healed up in like a week or two. I fell off my skateboard, fractured my this was like 2 years ago. I fractured my scapula, my shoulder blade, and my collarbone, and that took like 2 weeks to heal. And my collarbone had a bone spur in it, like this fat fucking lump about the shape of a quarter. Like if you looked at me, you could see this fucking lump in my collarbone. It went away, but then like maybe like a month ago, I just sort of like lost my balance, I guess, which is something that I actually do quite often. It's kind of scary, but I lost my balance and like kind of almost fell into my door. Like I just kind of leaned into my door. It looked like I was drunk, even though I wasn't. But so I put my weight onto the door. I was like leaning on it, and I fucking fractured my ulna. This bone right here in the forearm. This one, ulna, pinky. But it was like something that small can fracture my shit now. When I was just starting to take care of my mom, like I punched a very weak door and fucking fractured my pinky as well. My bones are turning to sand, dude. This shit sucks. Yeah. Forgive me, I'm like trying to find my place in this here script. Um, I'm finding it harder and harder to remember things as well. Like in addition to my physical health, my mental health is just sort of losing its flavor. Finding it harder to remember things. All the days sort of blend together, probably as a result of the fatigue and insomnia. But I'm also finding it harder to find the right words to say. I have a script here that I've partially memorized somewhat. It also helps just because I've been thinking about these problems for so long, and yet I still can't like fully articulate a sentence well, even with this script in front of me. Let's see, where was I? Fuck. Oh yeah, it's also harder to understand the things that people say or do, like their reasoning or just the meaning behind what they say. Like it's getting harder and harder to put two and two together. In addition to that, like I'm not just misremembering. I'm misremembering things as well, but that's a smaller point. I'm forgetting like bigger things. Like I quit my job recently, and one of the past few days that I was working, I had completely forgotten to lock up the shop. I turned on the alarms, shut off the lights and everything, and then just completely forgot to actually lock the fucking door. Someone could have just walked in and stole a bunch of shit. A few days before that, I accidentally backed into my boss's car. He parked behind me, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna head out now since my coworker has taken over for the shift. I'm out. Peace. Uh, he was like, oh, do you need me to move my car? I just parked right behind you. And I was like, no, coworker, dude. He didn't drive in, so I had space to like pull forward and then back out, right? Get in my car, turn it on, back straight into my boss's car. And I just left. I pulled forward again and like looked to see if there was any damage, and there wasn't any, so I was just like, alright, peace. I'm out. Not gonna fucking acknowledge that and embarrass myself further. But these all these problems started really young. Of course, back then, a decade plus ago, they were a lot easier to deal with. It was the blindness, because I was born mostly blind in my right eye, but in addition to that, it was like headaches, the weakness, a little bit of fatigue, a little bit of muscle pain, and that was it. It was tolerable. But now, a decade later, it's fucking hard to get out of bed. I honestly hate when people say that, because it's like, you're comfortable in bed, I get that. It's not fucking hard for you though. Don't say that. It is actually fucking hard for some people. When your calves hurt in the morning like I do, and your body is physically so weak that you cannot actually walk, I hate to gatekeep, but you're exaggerating really fucking bad here. Even as I was like typing up this script here, I had like this droning sensation. I can tell I'm gonna get a headache later. Who knows when it'll be, but based on the feeling of it, it's probably gonna be fucking debilitating. It's probably gonna be another skull fucking headache where I have to take 750 milligrams of fucking Tylenol just to hope to get over it. Script. Tell me where I am, please. Blah, 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 blah. Fucking stabbing pain in my hip. Aching pain along back and calves. Blah, blah, blah. I did go to a doctor several times. I brought up a few different things, like possibilities, what I thought it might be. Like I thought it might be, now I can't fucking think of it. It's like right on the tip of my tongue. This is pissing me off. I hate this shit so much. It's basically a syndrome, an idiopathic syndrome, which means there's no known reason, where your entire body just tenses up, and it's proven, it's tested for by looking for, I think, 13 to 17 trigger or tender points in your body. I think if they're tender points, it's myofascial syndrome. But then if they're trigger points, there's a different word for it, which is what I was thinking of. I can't fucking remember the name of it. But anyways, I brought that up to the doctor, and they were like, oh, there's no way to test for that. And I was like, yes, there fucking is. I learned about it in Clinical Anatomy 101. Please, just look, for fuck's sake. At this point, you have no other diagnosis of what I might have, so please can we just roll with something and see if it works or not? Just listen to me. That's all I asked for. Uh, but they never really. They always just said, "Oh, it's probably depression causing stress," and I was like, "I'm not fucking depressed. I know you people like to say that I am. I don't feel sadness or anything. I don't think I'm depressed. At least not by general standards." Uh, Whatever. So nothing ever came of that, or any of my doctor's visits really. I got a medication for my headaches. I got two actually, which really did help. Um, but it was just for my headaches. Nothing else was helped. Uh, After my mom got ALS, that was new information to me, and we were talking about it, me and my mom, and she revealed that she actually had a lot of the same problems that I did growing up, and so I was referred to a neurologist, and just based off of my muscle weakness, he saw my legs shaking just trying to lift it up, and he saw like the constant shaking in my arms and whatnot, and he did the reflex arc test. It's that little test where like they take a little small ass hammer and they hit your knee. That's like, I'm not trying to mansplain. I'm just trying to flex my knowledge on anatomy and shit. What they're testing for there is your sensitivity in your nerves. That is a reflex nerve, meaning it's one of the simplest nerves in your entire body, or one of the simple nerve pathways in your entire body. You don't have to. It's a reflex. It's not a conscious thing. So uh, when they did that on me, my leg jerked a lot more than it normally would, than it normally should. And so all those things combined together told him I probably have some kind of autoimmune disorder, namely MS, multiple sclerosis, whereas my mom was diagnosed with ALS, uh, which I can't remember the name, or the unabbreviated name. I think it might be alateral sclerosis. I don't fucking know. Lou Gehrig's disease. Uh, she wasn't. The thing is, she wasn't actually definitely diagnosed with ALS. She was diagnosed with ALS, but only for insurance reasons. They don't even know if she really had it. It might have been MS or something else. I was never able to get a confirmation on my diagnosis either, because those things take way too fucking long to diagnose. It took my mom like 2 years, I think, to get a diagnosis, and they didn't even know what her shit was. Um, but more because mom died shortly after that initial appointment with my neurologist, which meant I had moved out of the state of Illinois. And after that, I just never really had the motivation to go see a doctor. Because I figured if it mimics MS or ALS or whatever, it's most likely incurable anyways. You know. Uh, and if this is how bad my health is at this point, if I have anything close to what my mom has, then I'll probably have a significantly shorter lifetime. Like, she lived to be 61, 62 maybe. I don't know. I I might live comfortably into my 30s and then uncomfortably into my 40s. And that's speaking relatively comfortable compared to now. So I might live that long, but I'd rather not. I'd rather just take a break while things are good, somewhat, you know. Part 2, mental health. Mental health. And this is speaking outside of the whole, like, actual mental capacity. This is more about, like, emotional health. Guess I ought to just say that right out the gate. But anyways, just like the MS or whatever the fuck it is, I never really got an actual diagnosis for whatever mental problem I have. I was diagnosed with type 2 bipolar, which means, type 1 is like random ups and downs, type 2 is your baseline is lower, and then sometimes you have like little bursts of productivity and better mood. And then severe clinical depression. Again, I don't think I'm depressed. By medical standards, I'm sure they say I made a fucky wucky here. Fuck, that's not gonna cut it. Medical standards, I'm sure they say that if you no longer want to be a part of this realm, that you are depressed. But I don't think that's the case. I think that if you no longer want to be a part of this realm because you're sad, then you are depressed. However, I do not feel sad. My thinking on this is basically just purely analytical and pragmatic. There's the problem is there's no emotion, right? There's no emotion in any of this. And then I was also, my therapist and my psychiatrist also came together and lifted or recanted, I guess, the diagnosis of bipolar type 2, which I was telling them I wasn't fucking bipolar. It was just the insomnia. Like, I was convincing myself to just get up and do something because I couldn't fucking sleep anyways. That's the only problem where I had these so-called bipolar episodes, or these manic episodes, was when I couldn't fucking sleep. I was telling them this isn't fucking bipolar. They didn't goddamn listen to me until, like, the very end. Whatever. I tried telling the therapist I don't think I have depression. I saw 2 different therapists, and I told each of them I don't think I have depression. I think what I have is a little bit more severe. I think that what I have is akin or similar to sociopathy, or even like dissociative disorders of some sort. I was really trying not to sound too dramatic because I know Hollywood has a way of of dramatizing. I can't fucking say that word. They have a habit of making those things more dramatic. This is what I'm fucking talking about. I can't articulate sentences. I can only articulate me talking about articulating sentences because that's a sentence that I articulate so often. But anyways, I tried telling them that I probably have some symptom like, or some problem like that, and they kept telling me it's probably just depression taking form like this, blah blah blah. It's probably just a secondary symptom. They're comorbid, blah 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 blah. And so I tried like half a dozen different medications, At some point, they even gave me a booster shot of Prozac. A booster shot being they give you a 30-day supply of Prozac in one little needle, right? I had a bad reaction to that. Basically, I overdosed. Not to the point where I had to go to the hospital or anything, but just to the point where my body was tensing up uncontrollably, like I was almost seizing, I would say. Uh, and it had no effect on my mental status. It was like, great, I did this for fucking nothing. And so in the end, it was like, yeah, on all these different medications, my mood is a little bit better, but I still don't fucking feel anything, you know? And so I asked my therapist, I was like, if these antidepressants don't work, that would mean that would signal to me that I don't have depression. And if I don't have depression, then it really is this other problem that I'm thinking of. And if that's the case, can I even be helped? And they said no, because there's not a proven treatment for sociopathy or the problems that are similar to it. It's just you just kind of deal with it and learn to live with it, learn the ins and outs, pros and cons, blah blah blah. And since I get no warm fuzzy feeling whenever I'm talking to people, therapy isn't gonna help me either. It never did help me. I mean, it helped me to think about my problems for once, because I was always lazy and never really thought about it. But when it comes to actually helping my problems, no, it just helped me to understand. I this isn't something that I can learn to live with. I'm sorry. Like, it's like, what should I live for? Like, in my opinion, you find meaning in life in one of three things. You live for yourself, which is what most sociopaths and psychopaths do. You live for others, or a combination of the two. I see no value in either of the two. Why should I keep living? Like, I'm never going to have value on my life. I'm never going to have value on other people's lives. I've only lived this long because other people have put value on my life, and that was enough for a while. But it's not anymore. I'm tired. I don't have the patience, the energy to keep going like this, you know. And it's like, I know that other people care for me and whatnot. I understand it in my mind, but I can't feel it. I don't feel cared or loved, you know. And I don't care or love others. I really goddamn wish I could. I really wish that I could feel something for other people, because they deserve it. Like, I can still understand that people deserve to be loved. I can still sit here and say, hey, you're a really cool guy or girl. And normally, if I weren't emotionally retarded, I would be in the position to love you, you know. I just don't have that in me. I tried to get to that point, though. I tried to, over the past few years, I tried to, just fake it till I make it, baby. I tried to, just act like I care about people, hoping that eventually it would just kind of come true. Uh, so I gave away like thousands of dollars, which isn't nothing for me. Gave away thousands of dollars. I gave away my one of my gaming computers to a friend who needed it. Uh, I became more active in the transgender community. I started understanding them more simply because I had one or two friends and then three friends who were transgender and then four friends who were transgender. I started understanding them more in an attempt to just make them feel welcome, make them feel loved and valued, respected and valid and everything. And I did this partly to try to convince myself that I'm a good person, but also because I know that's what they should get. You know, they should get someone who cares about them, because why wouldn't they? Just because they're transgender makes no fucking sense. But no matter how much I thought about it, I never felt it still. It was always just thoughts and no feelings. Just looking through the script, trying to find where the fuck I am. I have memory problems, but I don't have fucking Alzheimer's. Give me 1 second. Blah 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 blah. Oh yeah. And then there's the whole problem of morals. One problem with me is something that argues that I am almost a monster. My mom certainly called me a monster. I have no real sense of morals or values. Well, not values, but morals, yeah. Like, because I don't feel emotions, I also don't feel that, murder is bad, for instance. I understand that it is logically, but emotionally I feel nothing from it. And the thing is, that feeling of morals is where your humanity comes from. Like, I can sit here all day and tell myself that murder is bad, but if I don't feel it, then that's one less barrier to prevent me from actually committing murder. Like, those intruding thoughts that people have, they try not to sound too crazy here. Like, they're more potentially worse. They are potentially worse for me because I don't feel like it. Like, all I have to do is argue with myself in my head, you should fucking die. And then you die. Like, the feeling of morals is what might stop a normal person from killing a panda, for instance. They understand that being a panda is bad and there should be consequences to that, but they feel that murder is a little bit too much. I don't feel like that. Nah. If I understand that murder is bad, but at the same time, one of the few emotions that I can feel is anger and disgust and spite. Most of the negative emotions, except for like sadness. So for me, it's like, yeah, murder is bad, but you're a panda. Justified. And it's not just me thinking that like the death penalty is okay or something. I actually don't think it's okay. It's more just I would be less hesitant to kill somebody if I could argue with myself that it were justified. It wouldn't even have to really be a bad person. It would just have to be a bad day. You know, like one argument with someone, one road rage incident, and that's a life ended. And I would likely end their life in a way that would require them to have a closed casket funeral. Just because in that moment I would feel such rage that I would have to disrespect them, you know. Um, in addition, in addition to that, I would probably do some of the most heinous shit just because I have no value on my life. You know, I've got nothing to lose. That being said, I would never do something so heinous as to y'all know what I said here. Shit like that. That's far beyond me. But like a one-on-one conflict, I might just pull out the glizzy. I want to make it known that I'm not saying all this to sound edgy. I'm really not trying to sound edgy. I'm just trying to get people to understand where I'm coming from. Because I know that as my life goes on, I will have less and less and less patience and understanding for people. It's already started. These people that I became so understanding of, I just recently cut them all off because I just have no more fucking energy to deal with their shit. And I know that that will only continue because I saw my mom take that same path. And so with less and less patience comes a higher possibility that I'll hurt someone, and I don't want that to be the case. You know, I've tried really fucking hard. I've put in the work to be a good person. I've done due diligence. I've tried, man. I've really fucking tried. I really hoped that I could just be normal. But it's not gonna be possible. It's the fatigue and insomnia are getting worse. And yet I don't even find reprieve in my dreams. My sleep is just another burden instead of respite. I think it's respite. I don't fucking know. My nightmares are usually involve me trying to save a bunch of people from like horrible, gruesome deaths, ultimately failing, and then me facing the same gruesome death. Or for some reason, like, someone's trying to break into my home. I'm not really sure where that comes from. But my happy dreams are actually a lot worse, ironically. Because they usually involve me with my sister and my mom just hanging out, having fun, and I feel this sense of happiness, or sometimes I even feel sadness. But no matter what it is, I feel far more than I ever do on the day-to-day basis. I feel far more than I have in, I don't know, all of my lifetime. And then I wake back up just to feel nothing, you know. It's like a glimpse of something that I will never be able to achieve, just as a general rule. You know, some people have dreams of making out with this really hot chick or something like that, and they're like, oh man, I'll never be able to attain that. Man, why do my dreams have to entice me so? But for me, it's a lot worse. Leaves me with a deeper sense of nothingness. Script. Summary. Part 3 summary. Cutscene. Fuck. So that's why I'm ending things. It'd be easy for me to embrace this path and just lead a life like mom. Lie to myself all of my life, start a family who I'll come to hate. I'd rather not, though. Which has left me in like the worst position possible. You know, like normally psychopaths or sociopaths just go through life manipulating people, doing whatever they can just to get by for the sake of themselves. I don't care about my fucking self. So that's shitty. But at the same time, I feel the need to be normal. I feel that need to fill this void. But I know that it won't ever happen. You know, like I want to have kids. I want to have a family, but I know that I'd probably just abuse them because I wouldn't have the patience. And you know, I've felt something like love before, but eventually I realized that it was just excitement. That feeling of, look at this new person that I found who's willing to give me all this attention and affection, but it's never able to fill that hunger. You know, it's never able to satiate me. Is that even a fucking word? I know insatiable is a word. Another term for sate. Satisfy a desire or an appetite to the full. So I'm not too terribly retarded. Whatever. Just never able to quench my thirst. But so I know that I just end up like mom. You know, I'd rather die now knowing that I have people around who love me and care for me genuinely, rather than live to be like her. It's really like that meme. You either die a hero or you live long enough to become a villain. As cringe as that is to say, I think it actually does make sense in this situation. Either I die now a semi-good person who's made a good impact on people, or I live to become like her. And I don't think the world needs another her. So, yeah. Blah 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 blah. Oh yeah, they'd also be really shitty because that's the emotional problem and the health problem as well, like the physical health problem. Like, not only would I be emotionally retarded like my mother, I'd likely become bedridden like her as well, like unable to move or help myself. You know, and that's not really the way I want to go, per se. To everyone leaving behind, I'm sorry. I really hope you guys understand this and feel some sort of relief. Not relief per se. Please don't be relieved that I'm gone. but feel relieved for me. You know, death will prove to be my only source of peace in this world. And you know, it's just like euthanasia. Just think of this as me euthanizing myself to save myself from the physical and mental stress that would come later down the road. So, to everyone I've left behind, I'm sorry. This is something I needed to be done. To everyone that I've treated poorly, I'm sorry. In hindsight, I never should have gotten close to anyone. But I feel that it had to be done to try to see where I stand and what I'm capable of. You know, I had to at least try. I had to at least have hope for myself, because if I didn't, this would have all ended on my 18th birthday. That was my plan originally, but I stuck around just to see, and now I'm once again convinced. Blah, 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 blah. Part 4, personal messages. When are we gonna get to the fucking good part? This part is going to be messages to a few people in or out of my life. Blah 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 blah. Asia, my sister. I'm really sorry to leave you in the dark about all this. I know we had our conversations about things, darker subjects. I wanted to trust you with this, but I didn't know how to bring it up, honestly. I was mostly scared too, because I was afraid you'd report it and I'd end up back in a fucking institution that I goddamn couldn't afford in the first place. Come here. This is something that I want. It's something that I need. And so I need to protect this need. So yeah, again, I'm sorry for leaving you in the dark. I'm sorry I didn't pay you one last visit or anything. I wanted to, but I just never struck up the courage to just kind of drop by, because I know you're always busy with work and you didn't really want me to be bored or nothing. Blah blah blah. Moving on. Nick, I really appreciated our friendship over these past few years. You proved to be someone really worth trusting, even in the end times. You know, even while you were in Vegas having the time of your life and I was having the worst time of my entire life, you took a moment to make sure that I knew you'd be there if I needed anything. I appreciate that. You're a good dude, and you deserve the best, honestly. I wish you the best. James, fuck you. Onwards. No, I'm joking. You're a cool dude with a great sense of humor. One that I think will have survived that last statement. Or that beginning statement, rather. I feel like we meshed together pretty well. Not to sound gay, but I I do wish that I had tried to hang out with you more, because I feel like me and you were wonder duo, you know. Quinn, you are by far the funniest bastard I have ever met in my entire life. Like, no one even comes close. Uh, you make me laugh extremely easily, and honestly, I don't know how you manage that. It seems natural to you, like more natural than breathing itself. Uh, I wish I hadn't ghosted you for all those years, and I wish that I had clued you in as to what was going on here. Uh, but I don't know. I guess I just didn't know how you would take it. But still, you deserve to not be ghosted a second time, and for that I'm sorry. Davian, my son, my blood. I've known you for about half of my fucking life, and I don't think we ever really stopped talking for like long periods of time. Like, there were times where we just didn't really game together, you know, we were playing like different shit for a few months, but we always came back together. I appreciate you not only for your chill personality, but also because you are you are fully willing to go into deeper conversations. Jesus Christ. Cat hair just everywhere. Shit. Yeah, thank you. Fuck off. Anyways. Yeah. Your balance between childish humor and mature, grounded discussion is honestly something that I admired and I really appreciated it, because it was like, it doesn't always have to be deep. In fact, it seems like you prefer chill, but at the same time, it didn't feel like superficial, you know. You're also another really funny motherfucker. Side note, bowling pin. One last thought to leave you with. This is my, how do I say this? This is my L. I'm giving you one last fuck you. You're welcome for that. Yosuke-san. Yosuke. I was honestly going to try to do this in Japanese, but I ended up absolutely fucking butchering your language, and I decided to save your ears from the insult that would be, and also save myself from that disgrace. I don't want to have to commit seppuku because I've dishonored myself. That's not how I want to do things. But more to the point, I'm really glad I got to meet you. You're a really fun and funny dude. Just hearing you, you have like this really innocent style, I guess. Like just hearing your little laugh brings a smile to my face. I hope that doesn't sound like I'm confessing to you or anything. I honestly really wish that I had learned Japanese more so I could talk to you like directly without having to have Nick interpret for us. But yeah, sadly, the international student will never graduate. Jess, I really fucking doubt you'll see this video, but in case you do, I'm sorry for everything. I know we've already apologized, but still, wouldn't feel right if I didn't acknowledge this here. I basically asked you to like uproot your entire fucking life to come live with me when you barely even knew me. And then when we actually got into things, I treated the relationship like I couldn't really care for you. And it sucks to say, but that's because I can't care for anyone, and I'm sorry for that. I shouldn't have used you to experiment with my emotional capacity. But I did have good intentions going into things, you know, starting things off. I honestly hoped for the best. At that point, I didn't really know how far gone I was. I thought that things would go better. And that relationship was like, it's a big part of what led me to this decision. All in all, I wish I could have been better. Grace, again, really fucking doubt you'll see this video. You're a really cool chick. Always a pleasure to be around. I wish that I had handled things between us better. I know we made our amends and reconnected and whatnot, but I don't feel like we ever really were truly connected after that. Not to the extent that we were beforehand. My stupid, unjustified, dumbass decision, the way I handled things, it ended that friendship as we knew it, and then everything after that was just like that couldn't really be redeemed, you know. The friendship ended then and there, pretty much. There was no renewing it, mainly just because I think you and I had already both moved on. I stopped PS4 gaming altogether, and I think he just had brighter prospects. But regardless, the friendship shouldn't have ended that way. It should have kept going until we both went our separate ways amicably. And I'm sorry for that. That about does it. That's about it. I don't think I really have anything else to say. What I will say, now that I say that, I have something to say. What I will say is, if anyone ever feels like you feel too much, like you're overwhelmed with emotions, don't fucking wish that you had no emotions. No, you don't. Working down is easier than working up. I fucking hate when people say that they wish they had no emotions. Like, you either become a fucking lunatic or you become like me, where you want something that you know you can't fucking have. At least if you have an abundance of emotions, you can just go to therapy, get your meds, and slowly work through the process. Hopefully you'll figure it out. If you're like me, you won't. That's all there is to it, baby. So yeah. This fucking schnoz of mine, dude. Good lord. I turn the corner, it's like I'm about to stab someone. Fuck, man. Looks like an arrowhead. Look at that baby. Anyways. That about does it for me. Goodbye.